Hey, Nikki here. I'm very excited to announce that I have started my very own podcast, Nikki Nice. Yes, that's right. So today I get to interview the incredible Laura James, absolutely stunning, brilliant actress and model. Can't wait for that. See you there.
Hello, everybody. Okay. Welcome back to Nikki Nights. Well, welcome. I am Nikki, your host. Right? You guessed it. I mean, shocker. It's me. You done it. You figured out the Da Vinci Code. So Laura James is here. We're going to talk to my guest tonight, Laura James, the brilliant and talented, gorgeous actress and model. So we're going to talk to her. So you guys, like I said, this is my first podcast and I'm really, really excited. So here we go. One more time, everybody. I'm very excited. Here we go. Hi. Oh, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Oh my gosh, we did it.
We did it. This is my first podcast.
Is it? I'm honored. This is my first podcast, my first show.
Oh my gosh, well, you're a pro. I've been watching it's amazing what you've been doing.
Oh gosh, it's been so fun.
I'm going to put this in widescreen. This is technically only my second Zoom. The first Zoom thing I did was with my 3 college roommates. We did it like the other day. I've been like anti-technology. I'm really bad at it, so this is great.
Well, Laura James, what college did you go to?
I went to a little liberal arts college in the Adirondacks called Paul Smith's College. And I think it had maybe max 2,000 people. I mean, it was small.
I love that.
Yeah. And I'd wake up and it was basically, we were in the middle of the woods. No joke. It would get down to negative 40 degrees in the winter. It was unreal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, I love, I grew up in New York. So, I got that like
Did you grow up in the city or did you grow up somewhere else?
I did not. I grew up on Long Island. So,
okay.
Do you know where The Great Gatsby, the movie The Great Gatsby?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, however, I did not grow up with Leonardo. Let's not be mistaken, unfortunately, but I grew up 5 minutes from the Gatsby estate.
Wow.
So
talk about something to live up to as just walking by that every day.
I know. Well, it was about 5, and let's not be mistaken. I mean, not in the same area. I lived in, the hardworking, 2-income household area.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it, and that's my home, Laura. And now I live about 15 minutes away, 20 minutes, in a town called Franklin Square, and it's lovely. It's nice, but when you have that childhood home. This was my grandparents' home,
Is it still in your family? Because my childhood home is not. My parents, yours either. I mean, it is one thing that I will use for auditions if I need to, is to remember sitting in my stairwell basement the last 5 minutes of having that house, and I just can waterworks, because I have never, for me, the childhood home is just it was everything. Okay. And I was kind of a loner as a kid. I really wasn't into partying and everything. So for me, I would get home from you too.
Me either. I used to date somebody who used to call me Safety Patrol.
Oh, God. I used to love rules. I used to love order. I used to love coming home and being the good girl and getting on my 4-wheeler and making forts in the woods and making horror movies. That was my life.
I love that. I was very similar. For me, it was, oh gosh, I was a junior firefighter, okay?
Oh, I love that.
For the Great Neck Alerts Fire Department. It was all men. I was the first girl. I broke up the Sausage Fest. They were miserable.
Amazing.
The men were miserable. And then after that, a bunch of my friends from my softball team, because I played 9 years of competitive softball. I was a catcher.
I was a pitcher.
No way!
We would have been such great friends. Oh, yeah. I used to have bruises on the side of my leg from having to whip those balls in.
So you are a windmill pitcher.
I actually did it the other day. We saw this random park, and I know we're not supposed to be in parks, but we had our masks on, and I brought a baseball, and I just was I haven't thrown a baseball in such a long time. It's such a great feeling.
It is. I was driving past the park literally yesterday with my dad, and I said, I wonder if I got a mitt with Joey, my brother, go play with me. And he looked at me like, you okay? Like, you're 20, he's 26, you're 31, you're not. This isn't.
Yeah, but it's something about, I think, missing that, like, when you're so used to competitive sort of sports I mean, I did it ever since I can remember it, whether it was soccer or basketball. I used to always leave basketball season like midway through because it was the plays were starting, the musicals. So I'd be like, guys, I just have play rehearsal. I can't, like, I've got to go. And so I think missing that competitive sort of sport mentality and that camaraderie with your teammates is something that it's hard, especially in the acting world, you know?
Yes. Well, when you start to play sports and you build up that, momentum, I think it's easier and you get that tough skin, because especially softball, you're coming across these like crass, brash girls,
Yeah.
these girls, I'm only 4'10", and they looked at me like.
So I'm the opposite. I'm like 6. I'm like technically depending on the audition, I'll say 5'10", and if it was for modeling like a long time ago, I'd say 6, but it's really like 5'10" and a half.
Wow. See, I wish you don't even know, Laura. When I go to the grocery store, I have to like a little spider monkey. I have to scale the side of the grocery. You have no idea what it's like to get pierogies.
Oh, I've been thinking about pierogies for the last like 2 weeks. I can't believe you just said pierogies.
So good. I mean, not the whole. I do like those Mrs. Cheese.
Oh yeah, in the frozen little cardboard package, and you saute them in the pan, and they get crispy on the outside.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
What was something that you like grew up with that you loved eating as a kid? That like your mom or dad? It was like.
What's so funny? My mom has been a vegetarian since she was like 19 years old, but she makes, I swear to God, the best bolognese that I've ever had in my life.
Yes.
Never taste it. So she would make all of this delicious bolognese and like roast chickens and everything like that growing up, but she could never like do a taste test, and it would come out perfect every time.
Really?
Yeah. And I went to Italy. I studied there in college for a semester, and I was seeking a better bolognese than my mom's, and I still couldn't find it. I mean,
it's never going to happen.
It'll never happen.
No. When I realized that, I've been around the world, and I can sit here and honestly say this, as sure as I'm sitting here, I can tell you that I will take Karen Blonsky's tuna fish sandwich over chicken parm or the best steak from any steakhouse in the world. Something with that love and those hands that have been around, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. And I would never pass up a tuna sandwich. It's so good. I just saw Mel's Diner, actually, because I live in LA. I know.
Laura, that's where I spent every single night after my hairspray dance rehearsals. Like
they're open until forever.
Do you want to know what I used to get?
Tell me.
This is epic. Oh my gosh. So guys, just so everybody knows, we can like premise this. Mel's Diner is across from Hollywood High, right? On Hollywood and Highland in LA. And Karen and I used to go there, and we would sit there, and it would be like, God only knows sometimes that we would go there. And I would get this omelet. I think it was called like it was called the Hangover.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
With chili and cheese.
Well, so what they're doing now, my friends just told me they're doing the old-fashioned. They come out in the roller skates. You pull up in your car, and they come out with the metal trays, and they put them in your car window for you.
Wow. This makes sense because.
And I'm like, I'm actually so happy that like we actually have an opportunity to do this, because we don't have drive-in movie theaters anymore really out here, and I miss that stuff. So I'm going to probably get that. And I saw on their Instagram, they had this like tuna melt with avocado on rye bread. And I just was like, okay, guess I'm going to do that.
Oh, that sounds perfect. Yeah. Are you kidding? I mean,
yeah.
Now, LA, how long have you lived in LA?
Oh my gosh. I purposefully, so I live with my best friend at the moment. I'm actually moving during this quarantine period, which is going to be insane, but I just have to get out of Hollywood. I'm finally at that point where I'm like, I've been here. So technically, to answer your question, I would say 8 years, almost 8 years. And I sort of purposefully forgot, because I just was like, I would put this sort of pressure on myself to reach certain goals at certain, years. And then when those goals weren't being met, I was like, you know what? Whenever it happens is fine. year, 5 years, whatever. So, but my roommate and best friend, she's always like, yeah, you've been here for 7 years. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I remember again.
Well, you know what? In LA, this is what I've learned with LA. You could be there for like God knows how long. But all it takes is like one thing, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? It's
so true. It's so true. It's also, it can be a bit of a time warp for me, especially because I'm so used to, I think my cat is going to probably come in here in a second. I can hear him meowing. It's a little bit of a time warp because for me, and probably with you too, with the seasons coming from the East Coast, you're so used to, okay, it's cold, so it's winter time. Oh, it's getting not so cold anymore, so we're moving into spring. Out here, it could be like right now, it could be January, and it's hard.
Oh, I remember I shot a show called Huge for ABC Family out there, and I lived on Vineland.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. I was
yeah, it's good. I'm like, so I'm in the heart. I'm like right in it. So basically I'm kind of by Mel's. I'm like Fountain and Cahuenga, which is in
gosh, sure.
Yeah, so I'm super close to all of that, and it's fun. It's been fun for my early 20s and into my late 20s, but it's like I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, I need a yard, and I need some like happiness with this anxious energy that Hollywood has sometimes, especially now. So for me, it's like, I think I'm getting mature. I'm getting older,
Yes. Well, speaking of mature,
yes,
there's a beautiful man in your life that has made this, a mature man that has made this interview possible. He was on my show.
Yes, I watched it. I loved it.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Great. It was so great.
Your father is such a gem, John James. Oh my gosh.
Isn't he amazing?
He really is.
He's so great. I'm so lucky too because I know a lot of people in this industry that we're in just don't get to grow up with parents that really kind of get it. I don't know. Did your parents have anything to do with entertainment?
No, believe it or not, no. My father always jokes that he was part of the boys' choir, and that's where I get my voice. And I'm like, really? Come on there, Paul McCartney, relax,
Yep.
She really thinks he's over there just
totally.
And he's like, I was second tenor, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's just pat ourselves on the back with both hands. Yep. So he says that, but no, nobody in my family. I'm the only one in the entertainment business.
Wow. And I was actually the only one in both sides of my family to go to college, which is really funny. Yeah, I'm the first generation of both sides of my family.
I was going to go to college. If you believe this, I was set to go to Long Island University, ready to go. I found out I got hairspray the night before my senior prom.
Are you, I mean.
Yeah, so I had to.
Ultimate.
Insane.
Unreal. Just really unreal.
I had to call up CW Post. I called them up and I said, can I please have my deposit back? They said, we don't give deposits back. They said, why? I said, open up the Daily News. And they sent it back. $250. Yeah.
They probably were like, and then can you come back and maybe, speak for us and things like that too afterwards?
I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
I wanted to go. My friends and I, we were over at South High School in Great Neck. That's where I did all my shows. Mm-hmm. And we were obsessed with NYU Tisch. that's where we wanted to go. More than all of us, all these Theater South kids. And I remember I auditioned and I did Lady Macbeth's monologue. And I also did Rebecca Hilliker's monologue.
Oh my God.
And I did Rebecca Hilliker. She's like, great job. Okay, great. And then I go into Lady Macbeth and she goes, the woman who's auditioning me looks at me and she goes, did you not see on the website that it says no Shakespeare?
No.
I said, what? I said, it's NYU Tisch. Like, it's not, we're not like the Roundabout Theater Company here, we're like, which is still great company. You could do like, totally. But this is not like, it's not Chuck E. Cheese. Like, why dumb it down? And
like, let me be as extra as I want to be.
She was not having it. So I was devastated, did not get into the school.
Oh,
Shocker. And turns out I get to the New York premiere of Hairspray, and this man is standing there and he goes, "Hi, I'm Stephen Tisch." No.
dang.
Yes, I said, "I auditioned for your school." He said, "What?"
He had no idea.
He had no idea.
Oh, see, that's full circle.
He was like, "Do you ever want to come back?" I was like, I don't know, because I'm kind of just doing it now. I was like, but you never know. I was like, yeah, it's something to think about.
Yeah. Oh, so did you end up going back or no?
I did not. I never went to college. It is something that I think about a lot. But honestly, if I'm being frank, I don't think I would study acting.
I agree with you. I went to school for hotels and restaurants because I love food and I love vacationing. So
Wow.
I was like, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life, but to somehow figure out how to also make my own horror movies and act in my own stuff one day.
Well, speaking of acting, you're on SWAT.
Yes.
I mean, can we just for 1 second? So you're on SWAT with an epic cast.
It's such a great cast, and it's so funny because, I used to watch Shamar Moore on Criminal Minds, and he's as good looking and charming as he is. Tell me about it. He is just, and the thing is too, it's like you can't even say, yeah, well, he's a good looking guy, but his personality is like, he's so nice, so supportive. I remember my first table read. And I had worked with Kenny Johnson before, who, I don't know if you've ever seen Bates Motel.
I love him. Oh, gosh, yes. Are you kidding?
He's amazing. So I did a small independent film with him before I did SWAT. And then, in my dad's interview with you, for people who didn't get to hear that and are listening to this, one of my dad's friends goes way back into the 70s is Patrick Sainsbury, and he's on SWAT as well. And, he's kind of like, I guess you could call him like,
dad, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He plays my dad on SWAT. And being in LA for all those years, he was kind of like my pseudo dad. I would call him for advice. And he had a very different career from my dad. My dad kind of had this overnight, go into your audition, boom, here you go. Here's the biggest show probably ever created in a way.
Yes. Oh, are you kidding? Dynasty is,
Yeah.
I would consider it a national treasure of television.
For sure.
It's a cult classic.
For sure.
Yeah. It was the 1980s in a television series.
Oh, definitely. It was crazy. And, like Wednesday nights, people dressing up, doing the whole, and I feel like the only thing I could really kind of compare it to is maybe Game of Thrones, because that was really, I think, but now Game of Thrones is over because everything now is like, you can stream it or you can record it and then come back. But it was one of those things where the world was involved, in a way.
Yeah.
And that's what made it so
was like
special.
The American Idol of soap operas, or the voice of soap operas.
Absolutely.
Like everybody was tuning in, banking on it to be there.
Totally. But it was funny because, my dad had that kind of success at such a young age, and his best friend, Pat, who plays my dad on the show, really had to work at it and really didn't he would do a lot of, independent movies and sort of small guest star roles and things like that, while he was living in LA, but he didn't really kind of make it big until recently. And, he's in his 60s. And so sometimes my dad will call when I'm having like one of those days that we all have in this business. And
don't we?
Do I have some stories about that? But he would call you. Can you just give Laura a call? Give her some. I don't really. And Pat's like, well, you don't have really anything to relate.
Yeah.
So he would always call me and be like, listen, this is what happened, and I had the worst audition, and I've been going, and you just got to keep going. And so, yeah, it's crazy. And he had told me, this was probably 2 years ago, when they were finishing up season 2, or just starting season 2, that he might be getting a daughter on the show. And so, and I was like, man, he's like, so have your agents, keep an eye out for that audition. And of course I immediately emailed them because I'm like, neurotic.
I'm the same way.
Exactly. And it's funny because I had the casting director was one of the first people that cast me in anything when I first moved to LA. It was just a short film that I did. And so I reached out to her. Her name is Karina Walters. I love her so much. I don't think she does casting anymore, but I reached out and was like, hey, Pat told me you might be getting a daughter, so keep me in mind. I'd love to come in and read for it. And I went in and read, and I did the thing, and I got it. And I was so happy because I had been what I like to call in the trenches for, I don't know, I guess the whole 5 years I'd been doing this, just crawling my way out of these trenches, trying to get something. So it's just hard. It's a really tough industry.
It sure is. I think if people think, because I've had success with Hairspray and it was considered overnight, they don't know that we film my average day was 18 hours a day, and that I was dancing at least 8 hours of those 15, and I mean, you just go hard. We go hard on sets, but
go hard. But I think it's
so
because you're so appreciative and you're passionate and excited. And that's why I tell people who want to get into this, it's like, you got to really love this, because the exciting parts are when you get the job, but it's learning to live in the plateau. I think that is like the hardest part. It's learning to live in that moment of stillness when things aren't happening, because that's the times when people will decide, oh no, this isn't for me. Screw it. I just want to be famous. There's other ways to be famous these days.
There's a difference between being an actor and being famous.
Correct.
There's a big difference. And I think in today's generation, and I'm not putting anybody down maybe who's on reality television. I have some great friends who are on reality television. Because that's a whole other beast in itself.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yes. Well, hello, my gosh. And how has that been? Because you won America's Next Top Model, but then you are an actor. Do you find that they maybe little or do they kind of run parallel?
No. So at first, when I ended up graduating college in 2012, and about a couple weeks before graduation, a commercial for Top Model came on, and it was like, do you think you have what it takes to be America's Next Top Model? And there was like an email address, and I was like, I have no idea. Sent them an email. Next thing I know, I get, back and forth conversation with the emails from them. And I blink and I'm on the show standing in front of Tyra, and she's saying that I'm one of 13 in the house. And I just was like, whoa. And I remember being like, can I call my parents? And they were like, oh, not yet. And I'm just like, okay, I'm in this now. Like, this is a real thing now. And after I won, I think it's a very strange world, because you're used to being with the same people for about 8 weeks, and then you kind of get, okay, here you go now you go back into the real world, and it's
like
very
different. Bird.
Exactly, like a baby bird. And I fell hard for sure, because I wasn't prepared. I certainly was not prepared for the modeling world. I mean, I'm somebody who is naturally athletic. I like to work out. I love my food. I'm very healthy. And so for me to go into the modeling world, I kind of was like, oh, I'm healthy. Like, I won this show, and I was like bright-eyed and excited and really vulnerable. And it was like, no matter what, you could never be good enough, and I would walk in to my agency feeling just on top of the world. I'd been working out. I felt really great. And I'd get an email later that day. Hey, Laura, we need you to lose another 5 to 7 pounds. Is that doable within like the next 2 weeks? And it's one of those things. And I would come home, and at the time I was living at the Oakwoods, which is like, that sort of,
sure.
Yeah.
I had an apartment at the Oakwood.
My parents did too, both my mom and dad. So I feel like it's kind of the rite of passage to get into LA.
Yes, so you're an actor when you've stayed at the Oakwood.
Absolutely. And I would come home and I would cry, and I was alone. So when I moved to LA, I didn't know anybody, like literally anybody. You too? Yeah.
I mean, I knew a lot of people, because I had friends from when I had worked out there for the press for Hairspray and stuff like that. But when I lived out there, I did live alone. So there was a lot of, nights.
Horrible. I remember writing on my Facebook one time, just being like, is anybody in LA and want to grab dinner? Because I just was like, I'm alone. And dealing with this. And of course, you don't want to call your parent. I'm very close with my parents, but the last thing you want to do is call them up and be like, hey, this is a lot.
As an actor, the last thing you want to do is admit anything to your parents, because you want to be like, I got this. I'll be fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so for me, that was kind of my life for a while. And then
And
I
then
woke up.
you're eating in a California pizza kitchen, crying over spinach and soak dip. Like, somebody touch me, please. Hold me.
Totally. Like, I'm so alone. Help. Screaming from my balcony. And so I woke up one day and I just was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. And so for me, you know, I love modeling. I love shooting. I love working with creative people, but I can't compete with 15 to 18-year-old girls whose bodies still haven't even developed, and they're being pressured to conform to what the modeling industry wants them to be. I couldn't support it anymore. And so for me, it was like, if this isn't good enough, then like, I'm out. And acting's always been my passion too. You know, ever since I was a kid, it's been that. So.
Well, I mean, I can tell you on Hairspray, I started because I was dancing so much vigorously, like 8 hours a day, and I had never danced before in my life. I was like, I started to just.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, no, this can't happen.
Right.
You're playing.
Well, I have a lot of friends who are plus size models.
Yeah.
And they'll go through phases where they're like, you know what, I'm working out a little bit more than usual, or I want to go take a fun dance class. And then their agents will call and be like, no, you can't do this. Like, you're not going to get work now because you don't fit the size. And so, yeah, that must have been really strange.
Well, I remember somebody, I won't say who, but somebody took my salad away from me and put a steak burrito and fettuccine alfredo and said, you cannot get up until you finish this.
You know what's so interesting though, is this is something that's never really discussed from the other perspective. And that's very, well, also equally as sad in a way.
Can I tell you, my mother is not a stage mother.
Yeah.
Karen Blonsky is not a stage mother. But what I will say is when this person said, you have to eat this, you know, you're losing too much weight, you cannot eat salad. And I was like, and I had just lost 65 pounds for a senior prom. I felt great, you know, and they were just like.
And you were how old too? You were young. I was
17.
Yeah, so all that, you know, yeah.
So they said, you can't eat it. So my mother heard me. I got so nauseous that I had to relieve myself.
Yeah.
Because you can't dance with all of that in your body.
Of course not.
So like, okay, let's do You Can't Stop the Beat. What are you, nuts? So I said, I went and my mother came in the bathroom and she heard me throwing up, and she went back to them and she said, look, you guys know I'm not a stage mom, but one thing I'm not going to let you do is turn my daughter into an anorexic or bulimic. She's like, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to let any of you put these notions in her mind, you know, and for that, I'm forever grateful, you know.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things. And for me, you know, I'm still like, I still have massive issues when it comes to body image and things like that because of what you too. Yeah. Because of what I have, like, I can sometimes barely even wear jeans because it's such a triggering feeling for me of having to go in and wear take my digitals, you know?
Laura, I got a job at Starbucks. Okay. I got a job at Starbucks because I needed to, because of all of this, you know, yeah. I needed some insurance. They came up to me and they said, you're not allowed to wear leggings. I said, what?
Oh.
I said, what? I said, but they're in leggings. Then I went back. I said, okay, not going to wear leggings. I show up for training. 6 of them are in leggings, but they're skinny. I am in jeans, and now they're in leggings. And somebody said to me, why do you think that? And why do you think that I said, it's very simple. I said, clearly there's too much going on here. That's why I'm not allowed to wear leggings. It's
and what
very, and they were just like, they don't want to talk about it. They, you know, very swept under the rug. Meanwhile, they're in their basketball shorts looking like they walked off the set of White Men Can't Jump. Yeah. You know, and, you know, but here I am, you know, just in a leggings, just trying to get a jazzercise on. And
I swear it's, and like the same thing goes for me too with like, you know, I'm very, you know, I like to dress up. Sure. Fine. Today was really the first day that I put mascara on, and it was mostly because, you know, I'm doing this with you, but I really am somebody that doesn't enjoy wearing heels. And so I don't enjoy wearing tight dresses. I don't like to have my tits out. Like I'm not like that. And so for me, that's something, part of the reason why I do want success in this industry is to have these conversations that you and I are having, because this stuff is so, it's really swept, it's still swept under the rug. And I hate hearing, oh, the modeling industry is changing, or acting's not, it's not, you know, they don't talk about that stuff in that world. It's not true. It is still, it's very, very much still present, and it's really wrong. And it has really like serious effects on people in their life. And so especially me, I mean, and it's crazy because someone would look at me and be like, oh no, she's like tall and skinny, like lucky bitch, you know, whatever.
But hey, people look at me and go, oh, she's the epitome of confidence.
I was exactly.
Oh, Tracy Turnblad. I'm not. You know,
Yeah.
I'm Nikki. I have insecurities. I have a lot of insecurities.
Yeah.
I just don't, you know, yell them from the rooftops like, you know, Maria in The Sound of Music. But
Right.
I do air them out to certain people. I mean, and it sounds like you have some great people in your life that you are able to, you know, it sounds like your dad has been there, but who's also somebody that's really been there for you, like a mentor?
Well, Pat would be one of them, as far as just sort of acting goes and things like that, and sort of being there when I'm sort of stressed out as far as auditions and things like that go. At one point, I haven't worked with her in a while, but at one point I was working with Elaine Hendricks. She plays, you know, the bitch on The Parent Trap. And she was amazing. And actually what's funny is I was in a really horrible relationship for almost 3 years, and it was long distance, from here, Europe.
Oh Lord, done that. Not to Europe, but oof.
Yeah. And it was one of those relationships where one day you wake up and it's 3 years later and you say, who is this person looking back at me in the mirror? How did I get here? I don't stand up for myself. I don't know who I am. I couldn't be less authentic if I tried. And it was one of those, and I was working with her at the time, and I had gone through the breakup. He broke up with me basically via email, no conversation, nothing, during pilot season. And so I had to deal with all of this during pilot season. And during that time, besides just the regular breakup issues and stuff, it sort of reminded me, I was like, why am I just, I'll do an audition. And this was while I was even in my relationship. I would have an audition and I would get to know the character and I would do my work and everything. But then when it came to really doing it, it was like Laura, a wall, the character, a wall. And I had to really do some deep work on this, because I was like, and I would get close, but I would never book. And I realized, because I was with somebody who didn't let me be an authentic human being, I wasn't able to be an authentic character. And so I guess, you know, in a weird way, I kind of was, and this sounds so, I hope this doesn't sound narcissistic, but like in a weird way, I was sort of my own mentor during this process.
Have to be.
Because I couldn't, the thing is like, we don't have these 9-to-5 jobs where we can be bawling our eyes out at the computer desk if we want to, you know, that kind of would be nice once in a while.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with acting, life still goes on no matter what heartbreak or crap you're going through. And you have to figure it out fast, a lot faster than a normal person.
I was filming a movie called The Last Movie Star with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
And Burt Reynolds, Ariel Winter, Clark Duke, Eller Coltrane, crazy, amazing cast. We're down in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I fly down there. They flew me in a week early, so now I'm there, meet the cast, hanging out. And I'm going to set the first night, because I did have a scene the first night, and I'm walking to set, and I just got in. I've been there a couple hours, went through hair and makeup, and now I'm on my phone and I'm walking to set. My phone starts going off. And it was a relationship that I had been in. He had flown a girl from Virginia to our home, and she is sending me naked photos from the bed that we used to sleep in. They are kissing in a bar that we used to go in. Pictures of them doing this. She put them in a file and emailed them to me. Do you want to know how I responded?
How did you respond?
I wrote back in a very simple email. I said, he's your issue now.
Oh.
Be well. I have a movie to go film with Burt Reynolds. Oh. Are you kidding me?
I mean, yeah, I found I was going through when we were going through like the weird period, I was looking at the
Yep.
Instagram and someone commented a heart and I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Clicked on her, all of her highlights are just the two of them and I was like, "Okay, cool." Yeah. And
Yep.
then I just eliminated them from my life, him from my life
Yep.
because
You have to.
you have to. And the thing is
It's
looking
fight or
back.
flight.
Exactly. And like looking back, thank God that happened because I truly believe, and I'm a very spiritual person,
Me too.
but I truly believe that, whatever you believe in, if you don't get rid of something or make something happen, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, will do it for you.
Yep.
Because for me, it was one of those things where I thought I would never do that. I would never break up with him. We were going to be
Right.
together forever.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they're like, okay, you're not getting the hint. Like we're pulling the plug.
Yeah. Well, sure. Sometimes when we don't see those signs, the universe is just going to be like, we're gonna pull the curtain out. And thank God, because I've been in a few of those too. And you need to see the light, whether you want to or not. But I think what's going to be is going to be. What's meant to be is going to be. And I think, but I also do think that we can work towards our own destiny. But I think, but at the same time, I mean, speaking of destiny, though, who's somebody that you would love to work with or that you've met and that's been a fan of SWAT or any of your work that just like it tripped you out?
Oh, I mean, I wish I could say like, all these people saw my work and things like that. But I actually had met Jamie Foxx like a couple of years ago. And he is such a like kind, cool, funny person. And he's never tried to be like creepy with me or ever hit on me, and it's so refreshing just being a woman, this. And he is absolutely like, when I saw him in what was the latest one of his, like Mercy, I think it was.
Oh yes, that movie where he played
Death Row Inmates. I think it's called
yeah.
something like that. I mean, it was waterworks the whole entire time. And he is one of those people that when you think about acting and even like, look at Joaquin Phoenix too in the Joker, but for me, it's like those people that can transform into completely different person,
Yes, of course.
And it's, I mean, you obviously have done that and you did it very well. So that's for sure. But no, I mean, I have not, I mean, I guess working with Shamar as of lately, getting random compliments from him about my acting. And again, the same thing, like never any sort of like flirtation or hitting on or nothing, just genuine compliments
and
on
that man gets it from every angle.
For sure.
He gets hit on probably more than most of the women in Hollywood, I'd say.
For sure, definitely. But it's very rewarding, I guess, because I'm still. And to wrap up that question, Anthony Hopkins for sure I want to work with. Robert De Niro, I would say Charlize Theron and Kate Beckinsale. They are probably like my top ones. I love them, and Jamie Foxx definitely, and Viola Davis. I love Viola Davis.
I've met Viola. She's wonderful.
I just want to like sit down and just pick her brain about how to develop characters. She's just amazing.
I met her at the Jets game, the Jets Giants game. I was there. I think I was there with my brother, and yes, I was like, oh my gosh, hi, so sweet, so sweet.
I love that. But when I first, go ahead.
No, you.
No, I was just gonna say, it was one of those things when I first went and did my first table read for SWAT, my first episode. It's a very, it's a very alpha driven show,
Yep.
The men are like, what's up? And I'm sitting there at the table read. Of course I'm early and I'm just sitting there like, and I've done plenty of table reads before. So it wasn't that I was nervous about the table read, but it's still a nerve wracking show. And I knew Kenny and Pat. And so for me, it's just this, a little bit of external pressure of like, make sure you don't screw up,
Yeah.
And then they all come in, hey, what's up, man? What's up? Oh, you gonna do this? Oh, no. You've been working out? I don't know. You look pretty small.
Yeah.
It's just like that kind of stuff. And I'm just sitting there like, you can do this, Laura. You can do this. And then everybody is just so sweet. And I'm so thankful. We just got picked up for another season. So I hope they back for that. Thank you. I hope that, Molly Hicks, my character, will have some exciting things happening in season 4. I mean, hopefully.
I'm sure she will. I mean, and Do you have a love interest on the show?
We do. You know, what's funny is actually, so my dad plays the commander of the SWAT team on the show. And
Real father?
my what?
No, Pat.
Yeah. So the dad on the show. Yep. And I play a lawyer, and I've like flown in from Pittsburgh to now, you know, reside in LA again. And I start, you know, having eyes for the kind of black sheep of the SWAT team. And he's kind of the bad boy. He always gets into trouble. He's got issues with like his past and his mom and you know, all this kind of stuff, and rides a motorcycle. And so last season was fun because it was sort of us, you know, that push pull of like, do we date? Do we not date? I really want to, but your dad's the commander. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun.
I mean, that has to have carried into your real life. You know, I mean, look, if I was a high school boy, I would not want to come home and have to sit down and have peas and roasted chicken with John James. You know, I would be incredibly intimidated. Your father is he's also like the nicest man, but I bet, you know, he's such a talented actor. I'm sure he scared the living shit out of
this is so funny that you even bring this up because I watched the interview with my dad, and I know this wasn't brought up, so it's funny that you mentioned this, but my biggest crush,
and he knows that I love him, and I say this with because you know,
but it's so true. You couldn't be more accurate. My biggest crush in high school, I won't say his name because he doesn't really deserve that.
Yeah.
But he was a footballer, and I was obsessed with him, and I thought he was amazing and everything. And he finally, like, which was like, felt like years of waiting for him to ask me out, finally asked me out to the drive-ins.
Oh, yeah.
I was only allowed to go to one movie. We saw The Da Vinci Code, which is the most random movie to see. You know, and I was 15, and I was like, you know, don't touch me, this and that. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. And so he came to pick me up. He was going to pick me up at my house. And I was like a sergeant with my family. I said, okay, Mom, you're going to just pretend like you're in your office, and you're going to casually walk out, okay? It was like I was directing a scene at 15 years old. My brother, I was like, okay, you're going to casually be upstairs, Phil, and you just come down when you feel like it's right, but don't like linger around the kitchen. And then I was like, Dad, you're going to be in the living room. Just come out for a second. Be nice. Be super warm. This guy's probably nervous, like whatever.
Yeah.
So he shows up. I'm sweating, like so nervous at the time. My dad comes out in the kitchen. My mom's like, oh, hello. It's so nice to meet you, with her Australian accent. And my brother comes down. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, how's it going? And then my dad comes out, and I was like, everything's going so well. And my dad comes up, gives him a handshake. He goes, get her home by 11, bub, and walks back into the living room. And I was like, you just ruined it. He ruined the rest of my high school chances of being with this guy because Dad he was like, what? I'm not dating him. I can say whatever I want.
Oh my God.
And that was it. And I found out later, he was like, yeah, your dad was kind of like, you know, kind of mean. And I was like, my dad was my dad. It's fine. You should have risen above and continued to ask me out on dates.
That's right. Step it up. I mean,
step it up. Man up.
You want something, you go for it, you know.
Totally. But yes, I had to experience that. Thankfully, you know, my dad's been really nice and welcoming to my current boyfriend. So.
Oh, that's nice.
I have not been in real life though, and it's been almost a year and a half. So I'm like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's coming. You know, as sure as Christmas, it'll be there. But let me tell you, I mean, her luck, he's not the hard one to get through. I don't think.
Right.
It's Karen.
It's your mom.
She is she is the tough one. She is like getting through airport security with just
without your license.
Silverware attached to your trench coat underneath. It's not going to happen.
Right.
But she's going to give you the benefit of the doubt. She will. And she's had a few favorites of you know, poor unfortunate souls. But, you know, I do know that, you know, family's very, very big with me. They may drive me up a wall 7 times a day.
Same.
But, you know, they're everything.
Side note, though, I just wanted to say before, you know, whatever, we run out of time or something. It's so funny because this interview is so exciting to me when, first of all, my dad reached out and he was like, guess who I get, do you know who this is? And he's like, remember Hairspray? My dad and I went and saw Hairspray, I think on Broadway. I don't know if he told you that. So we went and saw Hairspray on Broadway when I was younger. I must have been around that time, around 15, probably in high school.
Yeah.
And just absolutely.
When I saw it.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
Absolutely fell in love with it. And the movie was after that, right?
Yeah. I auditioned for the Broadway show 3 times. I did 3 callbacks, and they told me I was too young. And I was like, but she's 16. Tracy's 16. I'm 16. Like, what? Didn't make sense in my little mind over here. Right. And, but, when you're on Broadway and you're older, you can play younger because it's farther away. On screen, you can't get away with that. And I'll never forget. It was. And I went back 3 times. They said no. And then I went on the Broadway show's website when I was 17 on my 17th birthday, and it said, we're casting the movie. And I was like, oh, we're in the money.
Oh, yeah. But I love that you did not give up. And that is see, that's how I am too. And it took me 3 years to find a decent manager that I liked. And
it's taken me 14 years.
It's just, isn't it just incredible?
Yes, but I feel like I finally found the fountain of youth.
Right.
There she is. All right. The beacon of hope. We're in the money now.
Totally. It's crazy. It's one of those things. But for me, it was funny because when my dad told me that, I was like, yes, of course I know who she is. And of course I absolutely love the movie. First of all, love the Broadway show, number 1. Number 2, love the movie. But what's funny is that on my way to auditions, I would listen to your song.
No.
Yes, Good Morning Baltimore. And first of all, it's a great warm-up just to get your voice kind of first of all, I'm not a singer like that, but I can pretend in my car. And it gives you, I think something about that song, well, she's confident, Tracy's like this firecracker of energy and confidence and everything. And I'm one of those people that I don't really like to listen to too many sad sort of somber songs unless I'm in it and I'm going to just be in it and really enjoy that sort of.
Oh, earlier I was getting my groove on to Mariah Carey's One Sweet Day.
Love.
What is happening? Why am I doing this to myself? The tears are coming down.
Yep.
It's
one of those things, but it's like when you're in it, you just kind of got to live in it. But I would go and listen to that and belt my lungs out, but I would change Baltimore to LA and be really dramatic and extreme. And
yes,
and I loved it. And so, but then of course, if I had a bad audition, it was back to that somber, sad music on the way home.
Yeah.
It's over. Everything sucks. Never going to happen again.
Yep. It's so literally, funny. I know. It's like you know what it is? The theme song for our business is Foolish Games by Jewel.
Absolutely.
Come on.
It's so true. It's so true.
Oh gosh. Well, what can you do? What's a dream role for you? What's a
Yeah, and I go back and forth with this because I'm a big as of lately, kind of pretty much through this quarantine process, to be honest, I've gotten into meditation and manifesting and things like that, which I used to say that I would, but I never really did it.
Have you ever been over to Planet 9? My friend Rose McGowan's, Rose leads this amazing guided meditation with her beautiful soothing voice. She came on and she performed Cyrene on the show from her new album. It's incredible. I'm going to send you it.
Send it to me. Yes, I would love that.
It's great. So good.
I would love that. So I've been lately getting into that, and it's all about manifesting, figuring out what it is you want. But the thing is, I think what people do is they I want to be on TV one day. The problem is you got to get, at least for the work that I'm doing, is you got to get specific. What TV show? What network? What kind of role? And so for me, lately I've really been struggling with that because I love movies. I love shooting a movie and working with people in that small little period of time, sometimes mostly small period of time, unless it's a big movie. But working with those people, they feel like family afterwards, and you sort of come out with this final product that you just love. And so for me, years ago, my ideal was just to be able to do as many just amazing, fat, big movies that I could, Yeah. But, as of lately and with working on SWAT, I really love doing TV. And I love being able to sort of see your character develop over those seasons and see what happens and get that script and be like, what's going to happen next? So I think for me, I kind of go back and forth with loving like drama shows and dramatic. I loved Glow. Did you ever watch Glow?
I watched a little bit of the first episode. I love Allison Brie though.
I do too. Yeah. So the thing is I love
you guys playing sisters.
I would love that. I could see that. That would be fun.
You and Hillary Burton too. My God.
Oh yes, I've never had that one.
Really?
No.
That's all I've been thinking this entire time.
So funny. I've gotten Olivia Wilde. Like I'll be stopped on the street and some people are like, "Are you Olivia?" And I'm like, "No, but we can pretend."
Yeah.
Gotten her. But the thing is I auditioned for a pilot once that was a Shonda Rhimes show that didn't get picked up, called Toast, and I was scheduled to go test for the show, but a day before they said they're going a different direction with the role, which is a totally different look, which I used to get so upset about. I know.
There.
I used to get so upset about it, and then I realized, there's nothing you can do. It's out of your control. Nothing to do with your performance. It physically comes down to how you look, and there's nothing you can do about that. Oh well. But she was a really over the top kind of neurotic, crazy, like making fun of herself kind of role, like she's the pretty girl, but she's like also really bitchy. And so I used to for years be like, I want to play like a dramatic, drug addict on the street and, really get into acting. But as of late, yeah, exactly. And I want to go through all this problems and everything. But I really love comedy. And I, as of lately being surrounded by the right people and feeling kind of the best version of myself, I would love to be able to get into sort of a sitcom maybe. I think that would be really fun to do a sitcom with maybe a live audience, because you kind of have that feeling of Broadway, of theater in a way.
Yes.
Have you ever done a live audience show? I've never done it yet.
I have. I've done Love, Loss, and What I Wore, a Nora Ephron play. And it was on Off-Broadway. And it was on like 49th Street in Manhattan. And I did it with Anita Gillette from Moonstruck, Pauletta Washington, the brilliant actress Denzel's wife, Alexis Liddell from Gilmore Girls, and Judy Gold, the comedian. And we all, what an amazing experience. I looked out one night and I saw Lorraine Bracco sitting there. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. And then I'm walking out one night and, when during that show, we all had to talk about our favorite pieces of clothing. And all of a sudden you hear, I'm walking out and it's pitch black in the theater. Everybody's out waiting for autographs in the lobby. And I hear, hey, training bra, because I did a scene about a training bra. That was my item. I hear, hey, training bra. And I go, are you talking to me? Yeah, you, come here. It was Denzel Washington.
Stop it.
I swear to God.
Okay.
He does not call me Nikki. He calls me training bra.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what a great story.
He's amazing. What a wonderful, but live theater, it's a whole other ballgame.
Totally. And then live TV is like, those live TV audiences, like the multicams, those are really intense too. I've never done one of those, but that would be very fun for me.
I agree.
That's a lot of work. But the other thing too is I think being involved, I don't even know kind of what specific kind of character I would really want to play. I guess a combination of being able to, of course, you're an actor. You want to be able to show so many different, you want to have your funny moments. You want to have your sad moments. You want to be able to, I think acting's so therapeutic too. And so to be able to go through something that the character's living, you can kind of experience it for yourself in a weird way. So I think that's something, but to be involved with a show like that of, Game of Thrones or Dynasty or some of the big, Ozark, or just shows that have such a cult following behind it, because there's something so special, I think, about people tuning in every week or sitting there and binge watching 5 or 6 episodes until 5 a.m. because they are so moved by what you're doing or what they're watching, and they just don't want to leave. And so I think just something like that, I don't know. I had an audition the other day for, not the other day, it was like 3 months ago. This is why I'm talking about, I don't live in the now. I'm like, yeah, so.
I'm the same way. Are you kidding?
Exactly. But it was for Jason Momoa's show called C.
Oh,
Yeah. And they're all, it takes place in the future, but all the characters are blind. And so that was a new one for me.
wow. I
So it was-
played a character once where she wasn't blind, but she had to have her memory erased. And
oh,
so I sat there and I had to go in and out of focusness, like focusing.
yeah.
Like I was staring, they were like, okay, staring on the pipe, look down the lens, act like you don't hear, see it, you're just, so I just sat there like this. And then I would have to just kick over and go from to it was very strange.
Very strange, right? It's really one of those things where you're like, can I do this? And then you sort of start to do it and you're like, okay, I guess I'm going to do it. I guess I'm doing it.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I mean, and this is one question that I think this, for some reason, it tells me so much about someone.
Uh-oh.
What is your go-to karaoke song, Laura James?
Oh, my go-to karaoke song.
You have a glass of Chardonnay in that hand.
This sounds like I want to say it sounds basic, but it's probably American Girl by Tom Petty.
Oh, nice. I like that. No.
Just getting up there. And it's also like such
American Girl.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
I would say that one. I also think if it's really, one of those nights, Pour Some Sugar on Me is like a really nice, intense one.
Yep. Oh, I've done a TikTok to it, my friend. Are you on TikTok?
My friends forced me to get on TikTok, and I actually really think it's quite funny. And it's one of those things where you can kind of do whatever you want on it.
Yeah. Well, like I'll follow those dances so long, and then I just make it up as I go.
Oh yeah, I haven't even. So that's the other thing too with me is choreography, and we're not friends. Does choreography come easy to you?
No,
it's so much of it.
Me, I can sing all day long, because I know if I train my voice hard enough, I'll get those notes. But dancing is a whole other beast. Oh my gosh, it's so incredibly difficult. It was honestly, I do believe that learning the moves in Hairspray, I think that was the greatest challenge I've had to date for a character. That and learning to play the guitar in 2 days.
Definitely. Wait, so what's your karaoke song?
Gosh, it's forever changing.
It's one of those things where I guess it depends on the crowd, depends on the person.
Yeah,
because you're singing with,
If I put it this way, if I'm out with friends and I am maybe in front of somebody that I would like to impress.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, okay, wait a second. I have to pause.
Right? Because then it takes a whole other turn.
I forgot that I just asked that question to somebody who can actually sing.
Oh.
That it's not like, so what's your karaoke song?
No, I got one. I always go.
If you were with me and we were out and there was karaoke, I would have a whole book. I'd be like, can you sing all of these? And I'm just going to record it so I can listen to it later.
Oh, I love you. You're funny. I'd be honored. I'd sing whatever you want. I'd probably do, I always do I'm the Only One by Melissa Etheridge.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I love to get gritty. I love me some Something to Talk About by Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, that's so good too.
I'm very like an 80s female rock star in my mind.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah, would you say that's like your spirit animal, as they say?
Yes, Stevie Nicks is my spirit animal.
But I love that. I swear, I always joke and say my spirit animal is like a 12-year-old boy.
Oh gosh, really?
It's fine.
Like one of the what's his name? Noah Schnapp from Stranger Things.
Yes. I just like that hyper kid that is just.
Were you always a hyper kid? You had your hands in a lot of things.
I was always doing something, always creating, always running and making something, making my own forts. I would go with my friends and be like, guys, let's just pretend that this is a haunted house. And they'd be like,
yeah.
What if we just pretend that we're here and it's a regular
because you were creative.
Yeah, for sure. It was always. And even, my dad, this last Christmas, we had everyone over, my brother and his wife. and he called me the cruise director. That was my nickname for the whole time I was there, because I get so excited and I'm like, guys, let's do this. And then after dinner, we'll play this game, and then we'll make crafts and we'll hang out. And that's always me.
I love it. I am very similar. You know, I like to have things ready and set up and,
Oh yeah.
you know, keep everybody occupied, you know, so that by the time it is 10 o'clock, it's night.
I definitely have lately gone to bed very early, wake up very early, try to wake up with the sun lately. It's been hard, but I'm trying.
Well, in our business, the hours are just so off the charts.
That's the other thing too, is like, you know, for SWAT, when we were filming, I'd have these 4 or 5 a.m. calls, and they were about 40 minutes away, the studio.
Yeah.
So I had to, you know, a couple weeks before start retraining myself. Okay, you're going to start waking up earlier now and earlier than before that, because the hours are just nuts sometimes.
But there's something that comes with filming at 4 a.m. There's a magic in the air where you're out there. I mean, we were on like a crisp Toronto night, like November, and it's a little October, there's a chill in the air. And I was just dancing with John Travolta, and I remember just being like, you're in a matching dress with John Travolta. But I remember there was a smell in the air, if that makes sense. There was a sweetness to it, you know?
I don't know if it's because, so I'm a big energy person too, and I don't know if it's because the world is at rest during that time, or at least, you know, a big chunk of the world, wherever time zone you're in. And so it's that sort of, you're that 1 or 2% that's up and experiencing that sort of energetic.
Where's your place of peace?
Like time of day or anywhere?
Anything. Where's a country that you've been that just, you know, a place that you've shot that you love, you know, anything like that. Just some place that you feel just, okay, I'm Laura James and I'm just Laura here.
Yeah. Well, you know, I didn't grow up, but we sort of would go to, my mom's side of the family is Australian. And so, she's Australian. So one of the biggest memories of my life growing up was going to Australia and being able to be around my family in Australia. I never got to do too many touristy things. I got to just sort of be and experience Australian life with my family. So I would say that was always something as a kid that I would always look forward to, is going there to see my family. But as of lately, when I know that I need to get away and be in peace or something, I go to this place called Lake Gregory. It's up by Big Bear, Lake Arrowhead. And I found this little town, and it's one of these towns that you drive through to get to the bigger cities like Big Bear or Lake Arrowhead. And I remember just driving there one time and just stopping by this lake and was like, hey, I need to be, the beach is amazing. There's some people that are beach people, but I am mountains through and through.
So am I.
Be around the trees.
Yes.
Grass. I never have shoes on. Like, that's me.
I will take the mountains of West Virginia or Utah over the beach any day.
100%. And so I think for me, just being able I always just say a big open field. Like if I can just find a big field of grass and
wide open space.
That's me.
Yeah.
Anytime I feel overwhelmed, boom, I go and I just hang out. And I do. It's funny. I find that a lot of things will come to me, that things I've been stressed about or topics I've been, you know, working on figuring out and dealing with. And they just sort of come to me in those moments, because to get out of the city, I think, is so important, you know, and I can't afford to just go buy a huge mountain house, you know, right now. So
we'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Laura James, where can we see you next? Because you are such a light in this world. I mean, you really are.
Thank you so much. So are you. And yes, of course you are. I mean, I just was listening to the other day. Sometimes I'll put my headphones on and I'll actually work out to the soundtrack. It's so weird. I'll be doing these like mountain climbers and I'll be in this crunch position. And then I'm like, wake up today. And I'm doing it and I can't, like, okay, I got to stop. I have to just sing the rest of this part. But I don't know. I mean, I guess for me, I'm just, you know, right now it's such a strange time. So hoping to just continue to audition, hoping that things kind of happen with SWAT. Lately I've been trying so hard just to write my own stuff, which is why I want to talk to you too at some point later, because
yes, please.
this is so important. And if there's any like actors out there listening,
I just started developing a project on my own.
Definitely. Same. It's like I have this pilot that's written and ready to go, and you have these sort of internal fears of like, okay, well, it's stupid. I'm not like a writer. I didn't go to school for this stuff. I don't know what to do, And it's like, I just don't want to wake up one day at, said age, whatever that is, and look back and be like, why didn't you just try to make that pilot? Why didn't you just try to do that movie,
Well, you don't know unless you try, but also, can I tell you that you and I, what I've learned is yes, there's some big people in this business, but you and I belong in this business. And,
absolutely.
I'm never going to let these people who are like, oh, well, you did one big movie and that, well, pipe down, Louise. It's like, give me one more shot. All it takes is one, Laura.
How about you send me their contact info when those people say that to you, and then I will do some work on that.
Oh, please,
because that's ridiculous.
But this is what I'm saying. You have to keep it going. You have to fight for yourself, and you have to be, you have to be your own advocate.
Well, and the thing is that's why there's so, few successful people in this industry, is because a lot of people won't continue and won't drop off. And so, of course, you stop wanting to pursue your dream, it's going to end. So, but if you
Laura, look at John Travolta.
Absolutely.
He didn't act for almost 11 years before fiction. Mm-hmm. So, and people counted him out. And bam, all it takes is one.
Yep, 100%. And I know it sounds so ridiculous to be like, just stay positive and keep going, but it is true.
You have to. My motto is if the sun is out today, or the sun at least tried to come out, then I can try and put a smile on my face. That's
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And we're just to think about it from a really broad, hippy-dippy level kind of thought, is that how lucky are we to even be able to physically get out of bed in the morning, move our legs, breathe without an air tank, and be able to fight for this dream that we want to do so badly, and that in itself,
the game.
Yeah, that in itself is something to be sort of happy about,
Absolutely. And life is short, and I wouldn't want to do it anything but acting. I would not want to do it, spend my time, I just love it, and it fuels me in these characters that you and I get to play. Dream, isn't it?
It's so fun. And I always say, like, if I wake up one day and I just, my life has been just auditioning and trying and getting there and slowly getting there and not getting it, fine by me. It's been a fun ride.
Yeah. You know what? I can honestly say I was thinking about that, and I was like, you know what? If everything, God forbid, went left, I would be okay with knowing that I gave it my all.
That's what it is. It's waking up every day and being like, have I done everything that I could be doing? Yeah, I have.
Yeah, and you may not get to that highest point, but knowing that you at least were on the path there, and that you tried, that's all you can do,
All you can do. And so many actors, like the girl from, I don't know if you've ever seen Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
So she, right before she got Schitt's Creek, went to the beach and was like, said to the God, universe, whatever she believes in, and was like, I'm done. I cannot do this anymore. I'm in my 30s now, however old she is. And I had a bad audition. I can't do it. I'm so broke. Like, I've had so many moments in my career living out here, ups and downs, where I'm so broke and then I'm back up and then I'm back down. And she said, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. And then she booked Schitt's Creek. And so it's one of those things where you just got to keep going. And it sounds so cheesy, but just keep doing it.
And, and I always say, if the stuff's not coming in, create it.
Create it. Absolutely. Yep.
Like people are just, I'm like, Nikki Knights just didn't pop up overnight, like you have to, if you want something, go for it,
And so inspiring to me too, because, and even just your Hairspray story, you're trying out for it 3 times and then the movie comes out and you didn't have one thought where it was like, you know what? No, I did it 3 times in the Broadway. I don't even know if they'd want to see me. I already did it.
My motto was, I'm going to keep going back and auditioning until they get so sick of me that they just hire her and just get her out of our hair.
Yeah, I love
that. My motto.
That's how I am too. That's how I feel right now about my acting. It's like, I'm going to, keep doing this, and this is what I want to do. And so
you have to be relentless.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I adore you, kid. Are you
I
kidding?
adore you.
You're so great. You know I'm rooting for you all the way.
Same here. And let's, next time you're in LA or I'm in New York, once this crazy thing is over, we'll go hang out and sing karaoke or something.
Yes,
So
are you kidding?
I'll make you sing and then I'll kind of just film it.
No, it's a great place in New York. It's called Duets, I think. My best friend Gino and I, we go and they bring you like whatever drinks and food you want to the room, and you just
Oh, fun.
and you just literally pick a laptop, like an iPad, and you just punch in numbers, and it just song after song, and you sit there in a soundproof booth with your friends
I
and
love that.
microphones, and you just go to town.
That's so fun.
It's a great time.
So fun. I love it.
You're so fun. Thank you so much, Laura James.
Thank you. And yeah, I guess, we'll stay in touch and we'll see what happens.
You got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Be well. Oh, you know I will.
Oh, definitely.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. She's so sweet. I mean, literally like the nicest girl. I mean, and her father is what a legend, but I mean, you can tell that he raised her right. He did. John James, well done, sir. And your wonderful wife at the time. You did such an exceptional job. She is a beautiful soul inside and out. So thank you so much, you guys. So I'm really excited to announce that I know this is my first episode, right, of Nikki Nights, but we're literally already on to our 100th guest, if you would believe it or not. And my 100th guest, you guys, it's actually July 20th. That is going to be my 100th guest. And it is Lainey Kazan. I mean, the legendary, brilliant, gorgeous actress, Lainey Kazan. Dear friend of mine. Happy birthday, Lainey. You just recently had a birthday. We did an off-Broadway show together, and Lainey is going to be coming on and talking about her Zoom acting classes that she has been teaching. Absolutely incredible. I'm so excited. Thank you for that. Again, you guys, big thank you to Laura James. I adore you. Thank you for your time, for your stories, but for your passion for what you do. You're a gorgeous soul, my friend, and I really would love to work with you and just be friends with you because you're just a bomb-ass chick. That's all I have to say about it. You guys, till tomorrow, thank you for hanging in there with us while we hang out with you. I am Nikki. This is Nikki Nights. This is my podcast. Welcome to it. I love having you here. I love being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.